Welcome back to Wembley and live coverage of the Leyland DAF Cup final between Bristol Rovers and Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere lead by 1-0. The second half just moments away, so let's straight away join our match commentators Ron Atkinson and Peter Brackley.
Thank you, Matthew, and no doubt Jerry Francis has had plenty to say at half-time to his team. It'll be Bristol Rovers who start the second half. Jerry, who himself has never been a loser at Wembley from his days, of course, as an England player, and he'll be hoping that his success will rub off on his players. But Ron Atkinson, looking back on the first 45 minutes, I think an enjoyable first half anyway.
I thought so, very much so. I thought both sides did themselves credit. Tranmere, I think, played with a little bit more of a tactical awareness and a fair bit more composure. But Bristol were busy and threatening, and in Sanders and White, they've always got players there that are likely to cause someone.
And so often this season, Bristol Rovers have come very strongly late in the game. So they'll be looking for a repeat performance this time. But it's Harvey for Tranmere. Yates with the back pass to Brian Parkin, beaten on the one occasion in the first half by Ian Muir. The predatory finishing of Muir, separating the two teams.
Certainly I noticed that Mayhew has come into a more central position now, central midfield position. I could see him possibly making more attacking breaks, and that will be very, very important for Bristol Rovers. They really have got to get midfield support.
Just to remind you, Ian Alexander going off just before half-time. He'd struggled on for a while, and he's been replaced by Paul Nixon. Otherwise, the two teams as they started this Leyland DAF Cup final. Here's Thomas. Played it through. Steele took a slight deflection off Twentyman, and the sting was taken off the intended cross-come shot. Saunders with Vickers, free kick to Bristol Rovers.
Yes, it looks as if they're going to use Rees in a sort of right full-back position and put Nixon just up the field ahead of him in a more orthodox wing position. I just wonder how that will affect them, Peter, because he was a little terrier in the middle of the park first half.
Well, here's the free kick. Taken by Rees. Devon White trying to climb high, hooked over the bar. And that by Nixon, wearing the number 14 shirt. In fact, played in World Cup qualifying games for New Zealand. And now getting his chance in this cup final. A very tight contest. Ian Muir. Harvey trying to find Thomas. He's had a good first half. Let's hope he continues in the second from Tranmere's point of view.
He does look a good athlete when he gets up ahead of steam, the young boy Thomas. Seems as if he times his run to perfection as well.
Holloway chested that down beautifully. Saunders now. Devon White in the middle. Holloway. Well, disappointment for Holloway on this occasion, but he's been outstanding for Bristol Rovers. He's been voted their player of the season, and he's been a little tiger in midfield for them. Scored some useful goals too. He's the penalty taker in the Bristol Rovers side. Devon White leading the charge up front for Bristol Rovers. So pushing on Twentyman by Jim Steele. And they're having a rare old tussle, those two.
So it's going to be a test of character as well for Bristol, because an awful lot of their game is based on energy, and Wembley on a hot sunny day, as a lot of teams have found out in the past, is not the place to where you've got to expend a lot of unwasted energy.
Jones taking the free kick. There's Mayhew. Purnell losing out to Tony Thomas. And a rather rash back pass from him. He was under pressure then from Purnell.
Yeah, a little bit unnecessary that though from Tony Thomas. I felt he should have shown a lot more composure than that.
Now here's Holloway with the corner. Devon White is in there. Oh, good save by Nixon. The shot was charged down. An excellent reflex save then by Eric Nixon. And that's twice that he's kept Tranmere's goal intact. Holloway through. Saunders. Mayhew! Nixon is there again. He is rapidly turning into Tranmere's hero, goalkeeper Eric Nixon.
Well, that's a good flurry. That's a very good flurry from Bristol Rovers. Good setting up play. First and foremost, you see the goalkeeper's reaction save. That's weeks and weeks on the training ground enabling him to do that. And the next one, when it's we're going to see the next one when it's stuck in to Mayhew. No, then you saw his next block when he saved the one from Mayhew, who showed the sort of support run there that I'm sure Jerry Francis is demanding of him.
So a spirited start to the second half from Bristol Rovers. 5 minutes gone. It's still 1-0 to Tranmere Rovers. Ian Muir's goal after 10 minutes. Garnett, he's been very impressive. Didn't know for certain, remember, that he was playing in this game until very late on. Now, Saunders for Bristol Rovers. Vickers is with him. Saunders just kept his balance there. Cross it towards Devon White. It's a second crack at it and scores! Devon White has made it. Jerry Francis celebrates. And Bristol Rovers are back on level terms. Devon White. Nixon with the cross. White, when it comes back off Hughes, and then he smacks it away.
I mean, that's good reaction. I mean, there's been a suggestion that Bristol Rovers were on the way to an equaliser. They had a great chance just before half-time. 2 or 3 chances now. You see Dean White there, big striker, pulls away to the back stick for the first header, which doesn't quite make for him. Good reactions and a very, very good, a nimble finish, really, for such a big man.
He regained his composure so quickly then, Devon White, as the ball rebounded to him off Mark Hughes. And what a final we have on now. It's 1-1 in the sunshine of Wembley. Malkin, Jones conceding the corner as Tranmere look to spring straight back. And that's the reward for a very enterprising start to the second half from Bristol Rovers. And Jerry Francis has worked the magic again. He's so often inspired his players, and clearly he's done so again today. Harvey taking the corner. Harvey with the cross in. This is when teams are at their most vulnerable, of course, having just scored a goal. And Jerry Francis, well, he's smiling now. Steele, it's another corner. And this final really has come to life now. Jim Steele is in there for Tranmere. Hughes has come up from the back. It'll be Harvey with the corner. They have Garnett in there too. And Malkin, so there's plenty of height. That was Steele on the near post. Another corner.
I don't think people can quite realise. Look at the goalkeeper behind. He's behind a wall of players there.
You can't see the ball. Harvey. It'll be a long one. It's another corner. So the pressure has been mounted down by Tranmere. He just conceded a goal. Vaughan Jones, the captain, urging his teammates to stay cool now. They've got themselves back in the game. Harvey will try again. 6 or 7 players on that near post. All the goalkeeper didn't hold it, Parkin. Well, here's the counter-attack, quickly launched by Bristol Rovers. Purnell sprinting away. Saunders down the middle. Well, that's a good tackle by Thomas. And didn't Purnell hold on well too? And then Eric Nixon claiming it. pretty lively now, Ron.
Oh, very much so. I mean, there hasn't been a dull moment since they came out for the restart.
Twentyman. Burnell and Thomas timed his tackle so well.
I also think the tempo the game's been played at, with, as I say, the heat of today, there are going to be some very, very tired legs in the last 20 minutes, and we could see a lot of space and a lot of mistakes taking place. It's going to be very difficult for both teams to keep up this pressure for the rest of the game.
Here's Jones with the throw. Beyond Devon White. Mayhew to Holloway. In towards White again. Mayhew. This time Thomas is able to clear. Loftily too. 1-1 at Wembley. 10 minutes into the second half of the Leyland DAF final, the 3rd and 4th Division Cup.
In a funny way, since the substitution, the enforced substitution for Bristol, in a funny way it's helped them, because it's meant now that Nixon has virtually played as a wider player, being able to deliver far more telling crosses for the likes of Devon White.
Vaughan Jones pursued by Malkin. Oh, my word, he was quick then covering the ground. It was Malkin. He's taken the free kick, and then that was intended though. Malkin, 24 goals this season for Tranmere. The highest goal scorers, remember, in the Football League. It'll be Harvey. So often their schemer. And so often probing from set pieces. A good cross too. And the danger hasn't passed. It's held right off the goal line by Brian Parkin. What an excellent free kick that was, Ron.
Oh, tremendous curler. He's got a tremendous curler. Got the keeper right under the ball, and I think he was used as a bit unlucky not to make a better contact with the first header.
Well, let's see it again here. There it is.
Curling away from the keeper. The keeper's under the ball now. It's a great leap. Hasn't quite made the right contact with it.
It came off Malkin there. Hughes with the first header. Burnell for Bristol Rovers. Hughes finding Thomas. Good snapping tackle though by Holloway.
Certainly been a good response from Tranmere Rovers to the equaliser, because psychologically you could have expected them to have gone down, losing the lead after having it for so long.
They're looking to attack again, but Vaughan Jones letting it through for the goal kick. 2 matches then in the league this season, both won by Bristol Rovers. As I said earlier on, they were a goal down up at Fenton Park. They came back to win 2-1, and they were apparently pretty impressive in the first game at Bath. And of course all Bristol Rovers matches are played at Bath's ground, Twerton Park. That's their home at the moment. They've got no training ground of their own either. They train at a chocolate factory. But they are hoping to have their own ground in the near future. Holloway. Saunders tearing through the middle. Oh, he got there first! He collided with the goalkeeper, Eric Nixon.
He'll not think he's collided with him, Peter. I mean, that's the one moment of hesitation Nixon has had all afternoon. But you saw the value of Saunders' pace.
He never looked as if he was going to get there, did he, Eric Nixon, then?
Well, he got caught in one of those sort of yes-no interludes. Shall I, shan't I, shall I, shan't I? And then all of a sudden, good ball through.
Holloway.
Good ball through, now you see his pace. The sweeper's been isolated.
Well, Saunders has gone down from that.
Yeah. Let's hope he gets up, because he's one of the most effective players on the field.
Well, now we can see the goal once again that brought Bristol Rovers level. It's Nixon with the cross. He had time then to look up, and he spotted Devon White at the far post. Hughes doesn't make it. It comes back down off Hughes, and he's put that one away delightfully. Jerry Francis will be relieved to see Carl Saunders back on his feet. And Saunders was so nearly through then. Here's Saunders again. Seems to be okay. I think none the worse for wear anyway. after his confrontation with Eric Nixon. Now Thomas for Tranmere. Here's Harvey. He looks so confident in possession. McNabb now. Thomas, that was an astute pass sent from McNabb. A dangerous cross in too. There's some jostling in the area. Jim Steele felt he was impeded. The referee shook his head. On we go. And plenty of time here. So a goal kick to Bristol Rovers. So Johnny King, having seen his side take the lead in the first half, now they've been picked back to 1-1. And he's got another very important date here at Wembley next week in the final of the third division playoff against Notts County. It's 1-1 today in the final of the Leyland Daff Cup. Coming to these pictures, coming live from Wembley. The man who scored the equaliser is getting a ticking off from the referee. Ian Muir to put Tranmere ahead after 10 minutes.
Actually, he couldn't have two more extremes as strikers. The one, the all-action player, Devon White. You can't miss him. Ian Muir seems to go out of games for long phases, but he's never...
There's Thomas with a shot.
He's never more dangerous than perhaps you aren't looking for him. He's one of those, he sneaks into the penalty box and very, very quiet sort of a player that's just very economical in his finishing and very, very clinical as well.
7 goals Ian Muir has scored in the Leyland Daff this season, 35 in all competitions. And that's some going. Furnell, neat header on, but Garnett picking up the play for Tranmere, and he's given it away. Here's Holloway. There's a real buzz about the game now. Saunders. Held off Vickers. Here's Rees. Played it towards Devon White. Garnett got the better of him in the air. Here's Purnell. Always looking to take players on. Purnell again. Off he goes. 4 waiting in the middle. He's got his cross in too. Saunders didn't get there, and Rees didn't really get hold of that one.
There has been one noticeable change in Bristol's build-up. They're now playing a lot more, even the longer balls, playing them a lot more diagonally, which in effect cuts out the sweeper. The sweeper tends to cover on the centre half nearest, or the marker nearest the ball, and any diagonal ball automatically takes out the first marker plus the spare man. Just seen 2 good examples of that, one which nearly got Saunders in, and the other one just to Devon White.
Well, I'm sure Jerry Francis has worked very hard on his tactics for this game. He's a great tactician, a great thinker, Jerry Francis. He was watching the UEFA Cup final with us the other night and was analysing the play and wondering what tips he might pick up for his own teams. Just a word on the cricket score. We'll of course be covering that later on in the Refuge Assurance League. Kent 245 for 5 in their innings. Yorkshire in reply after 11 overs are 42 without loss. Jim Steele chasing well here. Putting it back towards Muir. And Holloway can bring it away for Bristol Rovers. Of course, if this match isn't settled in the 90 minutes, they'll then play extra time. And if they still can't decide it, it'll be down to penalties. So there's plenty more drama still to come. Either a winning goal for one of these 2 teams, or extra time and penalties. Who knows? Devon White in trouble now. Enjoying his afternoon at Wembley. Very experienced referee, 11 years now on the Football League list, and he's kept control of this game well. Although in fairness, it's been an excellent spirit. And certainly the crowd basking in the Wembley sunshine and totally immersed in this cup final. Saunders, how well he turned there. so sharp. That was not a bad effort at all. He really does look revitalised, Carl Saunders. Obviously his morale was low and he was not really making a go of it at Stoke City. But my word, he's come on since his move to Bristol Rovers. He had one good season, I think, didn't he, at Stoke, and then really faded rather on.
Yes, I think he weighed in with an awful lot of goals in a comparatively few games, and I think I'm right in saying I think he had an injury which has caused him problems over the last 18 months. I think he's been troubled prior to going to Bristol with a series of injuries.
Little push then by Garnett on Devon White. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Bristol Rovers 1, Tranmere Rovers 1, and it really could go either way. And no complaints about the quality of this game. Holloway with the free kick. Here's Purnell. Eventually cleared. That was Jim Steele back there helping out. Holloway. Off goes Saunders. Policed though by Hughes.
That's what I'm saying, the straight ball there from Holloway. The sweepers and sees it, takes it out, albeit even against the pace of Saunders. When they were switching it a little bit early, when they were switching the diagonal one, it was making things life a lot more difficult for him.
Holloway. Simply hasn't stopped running, Holloway. In the engine room for Bristol Rovers. 20 in before Malkin. Purnell, and Nixon had to react quickly there.
He needed that one, Harvey. He needed to make sure of a good contact there, because whether he was feeling the effects of a little bit of physical work earlier, but he certainly was slow in clearing the box, and the rest of the defence were expecting the Bristol lads to be offside.
I was just going to say, I think they were looking round for offside and then saw Harvey. It's a very warm afternoon here, and the weather is going to take its toll in the second half on this large, energy-sapping pitch. McNabb to take the free kick then for Tranmere, looking to restore their lead. Muir in there hoping. Garnett has made his way forward from the back, flags up low for offside. Free kick to Bristol Rovers. We're now halfway through the second half then. Bristol Rovers, the 3rd Division champions. They'll be in the 2nd Division next season, and Tranmere hoping to join them via the playoff. So Johnny King has another Wembley date next week. And they were here too for the Mercantile Credit Centenary Festival a couple of years back, Tranmere. They did extremely well too. A couple of fine wins, and then they went out to Nottingham Forest. And you remember, Ron, I think Ian Muir scoring a cracking goal in one of those games.
Yeah, Wembley has happy memories for him, doesn't it, with today's effort in that one in the Centenary tournament.
A couple of fine results this season too in the Littlewoods Cup. They beat Ipswich, they gave Tottenham a scare, and they beat Millwall. So whatever the final outcome for Tranmere, they can be proud of themselves this season, as of course can Bristol Rovers.
I think the tension's just setting in a little bit now, because we've just seen a little bit of a fracas there between Vaughan Jones and Ian Muir, a little bit of tension or tempers fraying. The previous free kick, I noticed Vickers and I think it was Nixon were having a little bit of a pushing and scuffling match.
It'll be Harvey with the free kick for Tranmere. Goalkeeper came for it and held on. Plenty of confidence shown then by Brian Parkin, who came on first of all a loan transfer from Crystal Palace when Nigel Martin moved for £1 million, of course. And he did so well, Brian Parkin, that they decided to keep him on at Bristol Rovers. And he's become a firm favourite with the fans. Saunders now. He's done well here. Oh, close. Oh, he was so unlucky then, Saunders. He created the space for himself. With some terrific footwork. And Jerry Francis knows how close his team were then to going in front.
Yes, I mean, that's brilliant footwork. I mean, he's picked his spot. He's tried to bend the one, I would think, almost in exactly the same spot as Norman Whiteside did the same thing a few years ago. What would be worrying for John King, I feel, there is I've just seen signs that both his key midfield players, I've seen little incidents there, both Harvey and McNabb, look as if maybe the pressure, when I say the pressure, not the pressure of the game, but the physical pressure may just begin to tell on them a little bit. When that was a very, very lethargic pass from McNabb that played Sanders in the first place.
Harvey taking the free kick. Here's Nixon, the substitute for Bristol Rovers. Saunders almost got away. Vickers rather dived in there with the challenge, but he's got away with it. Burnell. And the referee gives the free kick to Tranmere. Such a competitive player, Neil McNabb. Maybe, as Ron says, he's beginning to feel the pace of it.
Hey, so's the little fella who's just challenging the little Purnell. He hasn't half had a go today.
Harvey inevitably will take the free kick. Plenty of white shirts in there. That was a good interception then by Yates. And then he was caught in possession. Muir! The goal! Steele's got it. On the face of Johnny King, but his heart will be racing. It's 2-1 to Tranmere.
That's tremendous competitive spirit. I think it's from Hughes on the floor there. Once it's gone to Muir, he does what he can do so well. He can select a right ball. Big Steele's done that so many times in his career. It must have just seemed the most natural thing in the world. But that's the key thing there. Hughes has won that ball back. Tremendous battling spirit there.
Well, Yates had done so well initially, but then he was caught by the sheer determination of Hughes. And Tranmere, well, that's some reply from them, having allowed Bristol Rovers back into the game with the equaliser. Now they're 2-1 up. Jim Steele with the second goal for Tranmere. The second in the Leyland Daff, and his ninth for Tranmere this season. And what a vital one it could be. But don't write off Bristol Rovers. So often they've come back this season. Can they do so again? Just over 15 minutes of the game to go. Eric Nixon. That's mine, he says. Some great saves from him earlier on. A save then by the post with a shot from Carl Saunders. Isn't that just typical of football, how the game can swing one way then the other? Saunders so nearly scoring for Bristol Rovers, then Jim Steele on the target for Tranmere.
Yeah, well, certainly in the last 15 minutes, Sanders has virtually led a one-man assault force. Every main attack has developed through him, and he was looking very likely to change the scoreline. Now, all of a sudden, as you say, it's gone right against the odds, really, and down to the other end.
Nixon. Here's Saunders. The whistle's gone though. Free kick to Bristol Rovers. So some more defending here for Tranmere. Done well since coming on, Paul Nixon. He's asked a lot of questions down that flank. Let's see what Bristol Rovers could do with the free kick here. Mayhew is in there, and Twentyman, and of course Devon White. Holloway drilling the free kick in. On from Purnell. let's take another look then at that second goal for Tranmere. Hughes had won the ball back. It was Muir with the cross. It wasn't that slow, I'm sure. Oh well, we'll try again later. It definitely stands there, the goal. But the Bristol Rovers players didn't look too happy on the goal, did they, Ron?
No, well, there was a little bit toing and froing before the goal. At first they were going to try and charge out and to catch the Tranmere lads offside, and I think we're just seeing there the measured chip in, and well, that's what big strikers do. They get right against the back post and they don't miss from there. But just prior to that goal, the free kick, the Bristol Rovers defence weren't sure whether to charge out or whether to hold their ground. And to be fair, the lad on the ball, I think it was Harvey, well, he didn't mess them about a bit. He was quite cute. He read the situation very well.
In the meantime, a yellow card for Devon White, who's letting the occasion get the better of him. 2-1 Tranmere lead. 15 minutes left then. Thomas pumping it in. Well, Steele got up well. Garnett now. Here's Thomas. Muir trying to weave his way past two defenders. He can't do so. And here's Purnell, who's paraded this left back with great zest. Offside, surely. Mayhew down the middle. With his score from an international match being played. Costa Rica, of course, one of the World Cup finalists. And at the moment, they're trailing by a goal to nil to Wales. And now the referee is taking the name of goalkeeper Eric Nixon. So another yellow card. The goalkeeper in trouble here.
I think he feels a little bit of time wasting going on there.
Well, there's still some way to go. Malkin. Yates comes across. This is Vaughan Jones taking the throw for Bristol Rovers, who find themselves 2-1 down. Muir and Steele, the scorers then for Tranmere. Devon White for Bristol Rovers. Steele. Jones. Here's Purnell. Jones again. Tranmere with almost everybody back. Here's Saunders, the danger man up front, and it crushed his arm. Disappointment and frustration for Carl Saunders, but he has been a constant thorn in the flesh of Tranmere.
Yeah, he's the one. If you were betting someone now to pull the game round again, your money would have to be on him, because, as you say, shown great pace, great control, great willingness to run forward, and desperately unlucky on about 3 occasions.
Thomas. Holloway was in though for Bristol Rovers. Here's Garnett. What a sound game he's had at the back. Sean Garnett got rave reviews when he made his debut back in the Littlewoods Cup tie against Ipswich in September, and he's one there certainly hoping good things for in the future.
Yeah, I mean, he's been given the man-to-man marking job on Devon White, and he's stuck at his task very, very well.
It's McNabb going in very strongly. Tranmere now fighting to preserve their lead. Here's Steele, the man who gave them that lead. The Bristol Rovers want to bring on Chris McLean, 6'5". He's a real giant, this fellow. Now, he doesn't normally play in the side when Devon White does, but they can't play together this time because Purnell is going on.
obviously the manager knows his reasons. He's going to throw everything forward through the air and hope that Sanders can feed off the two big lads now. That's he signalled his intent. The only thing I wonder about, and only time will tell whether the manager's made a great decision or not, is the fact that Purnell was doing such a good job on containing Thomas. If Thomas sees it right now, young Thomas at right back for Tranmere can just bomb out on the right-hand side for the rest of the match, I would think.
Well, I suppose Jerry Francis thinking now he's nothing to lose with 10 minutes or so to go. It's attack or nothing now.
Yeah, I think he's obviously got to rely, though, on getting a lot of free kicks and a lot of corners to utilise the extra height he's now got on the side.
Jerry Francis, who has never lost at Wembley, but his team might be doing so today, and as they can turn this round in the last few minutes. And don't forget, plenty more football, of course, coming up on Sky, on Eurosport. You can see the World Cup from Italy every second of every game. The World Cup getting underway on the 8th of June. Argentina against Cameroon in the first match. But here at Wembley, well, we've got a really tight struggle on. Tranmere leading Bristol Rovers by 2 goals to 1, but here's Saunders now. What can he do here? Now McLean. There are 4 waiting in the middle. And Nixon, well, his handling has been impeccable for most of this game. Harvey, it's lovely skill. Now Hughes, the man who won that vital tackle that led to the second goal. Muir, who scored the first one. Here's Harvey. And Hughes scored in 2 minds. But he's had a terrific game, Ron, hasn't he?
He has played very, very well. Just wants to be a little bit careful now. His responsibility now is they've got an extra attacker on, and he's limping badly. I think he might have just done his groin or a hamstring there. And his groin, by the look of it, when he overstretched. But I think it's very important, though, that he keeps his discipline and just stays behind the 2 markers now. I don't think Johnny King wants him running all over the field at this stage of the game.
Right. There's a foul by Neil McNabb on Holloway. So it's a free kick then. Latest cricket score, 65 for 1 now, Yorkshire, after 17 overs, chasing 246 to win. Bristol Rovers are chasing a goal here, and they won't mind how it comes. Yates. Tranmere Rovers just a few minutes away from winning the Leyland Daft Trophy. But here's Mayhew now. There's a good strike, and came off Vickers, and safely through to Eric Nixon. Now here comes Tranmere. The second goal surely would clinch it now. McNabb. Tranmere anxious to keep possession, but Saunders had covered the back pass if there'd been one. And here's Malkin striding away from Twentyman into Muir. Steele's up with it too. Here's Steele and Thomas. Steele's cross and Parkett with a comfortable catch, just plucking it out of the air.
You see, that's the situation now. The 2 central midfield players, Harvey and McNabb, important they don't give the ball away. This is from Tranmere's point of view. And every opportunity this young lad gets at Thomas to break forward, not only does he make an extra attacker, he just makes the full width as well.
Well, Ron, you've been nominated to make the Man of the Match award today, so we'll ask you to think about that now. No Sheffield Wednesday players, it's going to be one of these. So while Ron's thinking about that, we'll stay with the action here. Saunders didn't quite get in there before Vickers. Tranmere Rovers edging their way now towards victory. There are 6 minutes left here in the final of the Leyland Daft Cup. And what a brave game performance these 2 teams have given us. Holloway, it's not over yet. Bristol Rovers have fought their way back once, and they're hoping to do so again. Away by Garnett, only his father as McLean originally, and the ball's gone out of play, surely. It's a goal kick to Tranmere. And a few more vital seconds have ticked away.
It's ironic, really, but since the substitutions, it's been the two big fellas that have been putting the crosses into the box. I'm sure that's not what Jerry Francis wanted. I'm sure he wants them in the box, causing problems, letting other people stick the crosses in, letting them fight for the cross ball, and then Sanders feed off.
Steele. Jones hoisting it forward. 5 minutes to go. Hughes lost out then. Is Nixon now? A shooting chance. Oh, he's made a terrible mess of it. He's in the clear then.
Oh, good situation. 1v1. I suppose see Jerry Francis there. I'm sure he'd like to have seen him show a little bit more what we would call moral courage. That's to attack the defender, take the defender in closer. He could have run that in, I'm sure, another 10 yards.
Here's Steele. Came off Holloway. Jones now, the Bristol Rovers captain. Now Nixon, the Tranmere fans already whistling. They want it all to end. But it's another free kick to Bristol Rovers. 4 minutes remain on the clock. As the players group around the edge of the penalty area, there's still a Tranmere player down. Johnny King looking nonplussed, trying not to let his anxiety show.
And what you didn't see off the ball there was a little bit of a problem with Hughes and Nixon. Hughes is obviously very upset. He thinks that Nixon's actually elbowed the lad that's down. Who's down? Is it Mundell?
I think it's Vickers who's down.
Vickers is down. He's very upset with the thing that's caused it. And he was remonstrating with him just walking back there. In fact, he looked as if he threatened to stick a headbutt on him at one stage.
Well, the Tranmere fans and the Bristol fans, I'm sure, have really enjoyed the day. It's a day out, a fun day they call it, but of course both teams want to win. And at the moment, it's looking as if Tranmere Rovers are going to win it. Unless Bristol Rovers can find an equaliser in the last 3 minutes. Jones taking the free kick. Here's Rees. Andy Rees with the cross. Holloway couldn't make it. Muir now. The tackle from Jones. It's out of play. It's a throw to Tranmere. Just a couple of minutes now. Another throw to Tranmere. Not in too much of a hurry to take it, as you'd expect. And Bristol Rovers need to get the ball back off them. McNabb. Steele, but the flag's up for offside. So Bristol Rovers will take the chance to launch another assault here. Here's Thomas. There's the back pass. Rifled back towards Eric Nixon. Tranmere are almost there now. Steele's header. Bit of a mix-up. Steele's got it back again. Harvey wants to take over. Flick on from Steele. Mayhew. But the foul by McNabb. Here's Holloway for Bristol Rovers. There's McLean outside him. Nixon here. In goes Steele. That was coolly done. Muir. Going all the way. The ball rolling away from him. Through the parking. We're now into time added on for stoppages. Are we in for one last twist of the tail? Saunders. Twisting and turning, certainly. Trying to shake off his marker. But he couldn't do so. And here's Steele. And the break could be on here for Tranmere. Muir now. He has Malkin in support. Rees had covered the run. Up in search of Devon White. Here's Holloway. Can't be long left now. Holloway's pass. Nixon has to chase. He's willing to keep it in at all then. And he's won it back again. Still Nixon. Oh! He couldn't find Devon White. He did the hard part.
Well, they'll never have a better chance in their lives to equalise other than that. Nixon has done magnificent to win the ball back and just hasn't put enough on his little cutback to, is it Devon White?
It's a throw to Bristol Rovers.
You would have bet money on that being an equaliser.
Tranmere hanging on here. Hughes. Devon White losing out though to Thomas. And the back pass. Saunders. So quick, so nippy. Couldn't quite get there though before Eric Nixon. And Tranmere now are only seconds away from winning the Leyland Daff Cup. They came through the Northern final against Doncaster, and now it looks as if they're going to take their revenge over Bristol Rovers, who recorded a double over them on their way to the 3rd Division Championship. We've had 2 minutes of injury time. Jones taking the throw. Devon White. Mayhew taking over. And it's off Harvey for the corner. I think they just have time to take the corner. It's Holloway. The referee looks cool enough. McLean was on that near post. Holloway. 4-5 waiting in the middle from Bristol Rovers. Saunders. Just past the post.
I think that may be a very, very prophetic statement, just past the post.
It looks as if now the Leyland Daff Cup is going to be won by Tranmere. Saunders, who hit the post in the second half and has played so well up front, full of tricks, full of cunning. But the day, I think, is going to be long for Tranmere, unless Bristol Rovers can sneak one back here, right at the death. Holloway. Devon White down. Saunders. First time! Denied again by Eric Nixon. What a match he's had. Comes Saunders. And it's all over. Tranmere have done it. Jim Steele with the winning goal after Bristol Rovers had bounced back so well in the second half. It's the first half of a Wembley double for Tranmere. They have the second part, of course, to come in the final of the 3rd Division playoff. And Johnny King, what a moment for him.
You look around and you see people like Carl Sanders and Holloway. No way did they deserve to be on a losing side. Both had great games. But I've got to be fair, I don't think I've seen a better player on the field than young Thomas today. I think Thomas has been, for me, the outstanding player on the field today.
Tony Thomas is Ron Atkinson's nomination as the man of the match. Just 18 years old. What a future lies ahead of him. It's Johnny King just sportingly shaking hands with some of the Bristol Rovers players. There he is, Tony Thomas. Wears number 11, but plays it right back. And a very attacking right back, as we've seen. And he is the man of the match. But, well, there are 22 heroes and more out there, the substitutes as well, because they've given us a grand show here. It really could have swung either way in the second half.
In the second half, Peter, I mean, what about the last 3 or 4 minutes? Bristol Rovers themselves might have had 3 goals in that period of time. Got to feel sorry for somebody like Sanders today. What a game he's had.
Well, he could have got 3 or 4 certainly in the second half, and don't forget he had that chance too early on in the game that was so well saved by Nixon. Carl Saunders, well, looking a dejected figure now, but he's every reason to feel proud. And Johnny King now showing some emotion at last. Day for these players from the 3rd division. It's their chance to play at Wembley, and how well they've all accepted it too. Ian Holloway with an unusual hat on, and he's run his legs off today. The players receiving now the acclaim of the crowd, and the Tranmere players about to receive the trophy. The guest of honour, Sir Stanley Matthews. Here's Mark Hughes, outstanding in the sweeper role, shaking hands there with Jerry Francis. David Fairclough, the substitute who didn't come on, joining in the celebrations. Number 8 there, Jimmy Harvey, the man who'll be collecting the trophy for Tranmere. An inspirational captain's display from him. Jim Steele with the 2nd goal, but in the end proved the winner for Tranmere. And here it is again. What a tackle that by Hughes.
I think that's what the Bristol lads were actually complaining about there, actually. They thought there was, I mean, that will show quite clearly there wasn't. I think that they were complaining that maybe Hughes had fouled, was it Yates? But no, just a very, very good competitive win back there.
Well, that's all history now. The cup has been won by Tranmere, and Jim Steele is the man who has earned it for them with that winning goal. And there it is, the Leyland Daft trophy to be awarded by Sir Stanley Matthews. There he is in that natty pink tie. And the Bristol Rovers players are going up first. Led up by their captain, Vaughan Jones. And nothing can take away from them the excellent season that they've had. Miraculous, it's been called by some, and you can't really argue with that. All they've achieved without a ground, with no money to spend. They don't even have their own training ground. And they have let nobody down today. They played their part in an excellent final of the Leyland Daft Cup. Evan White, who played so well up front. It's Andy Rees and Chris McLean, who came on as a substitute. David Mayhew and goalkeeper Brian Parkin. And a nice gesture too from Bristol Rovers that they're going to buy a championship medal for Nigel Martin, the man, of course, who figured in their matches earlier in the season before his move to Crystal Palace. So he's missed out on a winner's medal for Palace at the FA Cup, but Nigel Martin will receive a championship medal from Bristol Rovers. And here they come then, the players of Tranmere Rovers, led up the steps by Jimmy Harvey. Former Hereford and Arsenal player, Bristol City too. Receiving the welcome from the crowd, the Tranmere supporters who've travelled down from Merseyside, and how they're milking the occasion now. Sir Stanley Matthews presents the Leyland Daft Cup to Jimmy Harvey of Tranmere Rovers. A beaming smile for the captain of Tranmere. Eric Nixon, who made so many heroic saves. And behind him, Mark Hughes, whose tackle won the ball back for Tranmere to create the winning goal. Jimmy Harvey, a very, very proud man. And he'll be hoping, of course, that he can lead his team to another victory next week, so that Tranmere can renew their battle with Bristol Rovers in the second division next season. I think Tranmere didn't feel they did themselves justice in the two league games. They certainly have today. It's Tranmere Rovers who have won the cup. Disappointment today for Bristol Rovers, but their time may well come again. The final score here is Tranmere Rovers 2, Bristol Rovers 1. The cup is going to Merseyside. Join us again after the break.
Welcome back to Wembley, where I can confirm that Tranmere have won the Battle of the Rovers, lifting the Leyland Daft Cup thanks to goals from Ian Muir and Jim Steele. They won't be celebrating too much because they're back here in a week when they contest the third division playoff final in their bid to join champions Bristol Rovers in Division 2. There's a special programme on Sky 1 at 11:30 tonight when we feature the celebrity match that preceded today's events. But the action now is going to come from Canterbury and the Refuge Assurance cricket match between Kent and Yorkshire. Kent in their first innings were on 200 and made 245 for 5 from their allotted 40 overs. Yorkshire currently 109 for 3. Your commentator, Tony Gregg.